Right, you mugs.
Oh my God.
Welcome to Connected, episode 398, innit? This episode is brought to you by Squarespace and Capital One and other. My name's Myke and I'm joined by another couple of mugs. One of them's Federico Viticci, innit? All right, Federico?
Thank you, Myke. Appreciate the introduction. Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
What's the whispering for?
This is how I'm doing the intro this week.
We don't all do special intros every time.
I decide when I do the special intro.
Oh, I guess you do.
So
Can you introduce Stephen then?
It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Stephen Hackett. Hello, Stephen.
You've created so much work for me now to make that listenable.
Yeah, there's also massive volume differences between the two of us to begin.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Myke, that was incredible.
I've been thinking about that for a week. My real worry there was I was going to swear. That was my concern. Because if I slip back into my Cockney roots, which by the way, I never sounded exactly like that. That was way more aggressive than I would.
You sounded angry.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cockneys are angry. It's just like part of their being, you know?
Another. All right, just swear and we'll bleep it out. It's fine.
Well, it was like,
So much work for me.
It's more
Stop
work
it.
for Stephen. That's why I didn't do it. Plus, it would have just been, I mean, it's antagonistic enough, right? I had to call them mugs, but like I wanted to call them something else kind of mugs, right? Which is what I would normally do.
Right.
And that just felt like, you've already pressed play and you've got someone insulting you. You don't need them to curse at you too, you know?
Imagine pressing play, you hear someone shouting and bleeped out from the first 3 seconds.
So there you go.
They're saying release the mic cut in Discord already.
See? They know it. Release the mic cut, the mic cut.
The mic
Everyone
cut.
wants it.
We're going to start with some follow-up. iOS 15.5, watchOS 8.6, and macOS 12.4. My word, get your version numbers together, Apple. They're all out. Federico.
Not so difficult. It's 0.4, 0.5, and 0.6. They're all in
but
order.
it's 12 and 8 and 15.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Anything people should know about?
Not really. I mean, really, the thing worth noting is that the shortcuts, bug fixes continue, both on iOS and iPadOS and macOS. Apple has now separate pages for release notes on the Mac and iPhone and iPad. Actually, they're doing a really good job here. I mean, we really criticized shortcuts in September, rightfully so, because it was so buggy and crashy. They've been putting in the work. On each release, there's a ton of bug fixes, a ton of stability improvements. Still a lot of work to be done. Still a lot of SwiftUI weirdness, especially on macOS. But they're continuing to work on this and they're publishing detailed release notes. I don't recall another instance of a system app. Maybe Safari. Maybe just Safari has the standalone release notes page. But it's nice to see this work on shortcuts continue and nothing else really. I mean, there's some wallet fixes, I think. Is 0.5 the release where if you are in a participating state, you get the driver's license stuff and the wallet keys? The driver's license, I mean, never give a phone to a cop, but still, it's pretty cool that you can have, I guess, your ID in there. Not much else. But I want to see what's coming in 0.6, which we just talked about in the pre-show for Connected Pro listeners. We have a little bet going during the show that will resolve at the end of this episode. But 0.5 just came out, but there's already a beta of 0.6. So we'll see what's in it. And but WWDC is coming fast. So I'm also curious to see if iOS 15.6 and the related updates, because there's also watchOS 8.7 and macOS 12.5. Once again, it's 5, 6, and 7.
And tvOS 15.6.
Right, I'm sorry, also tvOS. I want to see if this come out in time for WWDC.
I wouldn't be surprised if this had something in it eventually that they announced at WWDC.
Good theory.
So like some new little thing and it's going to be in...
Save it for the Rickies.
I will say as well, 15.5 also contains the support for the external linking thing.
Oh,
For reader apps, but I have yet to see any examples of anyone using it, but it has the support for that.
I think it also has the use your phone as a payment terminal in the US.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think 15.5 brought that. There's nothing else in follow-up, I don't think.
Liar. Stephen broke a phone.
Nah,
He broke another iPhone.
one. Yes.
Another one. So badly, too. Have you got an image for the show notes?
Another one, but
Yeah, I'll put...
Another one, but dust. And another
This
one,
is
but
just so bad. Like, so he smashed the back, but like, I'm pretty sure you can see into the phone in one part of it.
It doesn't... It got really hot while charging.
Well, yeah, because you've absolutely obliterated it. What kind of charging? Wireless charging?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
So it's currently plugged in on my desk to a lightning cable.
Why would you do that?
Oh, that seems dangerous. Why?
It's like, oh, I spilled some water in the lightning port and then plugged it in and my house burnt down. I don't understand.
I dropped it from standing height onto concrete without a case.
Why are you always around rocks, stones, concrete? Like,
Yeah.
why are you so much around hard surfaces?
Lisa asked if I have a bucket of sand to put it in. That's very good, Lisa.
The thermal event.
Look at this. There's like a hole in it.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's
Jeez.
bad. It's bad. The case
Wow.
is kind of holding it together. And, my studio's in my backyard. There's a stone walkway to get to it. There's a concrete patio.
And you just can't be bothered to carry your phone, so you just throw it and hope it lands on the grass.
Get a foam patio or something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
AstroTurf.
Do something.
You should have a case on your phone. You can't be trusted.
I did for a while, and then I got tired of it, so I took it off.
Now look what's happened.
You gotta
A
get
case.
you gotta get a rugged case.
Probably would. I don't know if a case would have saved this one. It probably would have saved it.
100% would have saved it. Because the smashing impact was clearly right on the back there.
Yeah.
Right? And so that would have never made contact with the phone.
The worst.
Like it's hit like a little stone or something, right?
Yeah,
And then that
it
just
must have
shattered
hit like a little raised part. The worst part is it's cracked up into like the camera plateau right up against one of the cameras.
And the LiDAR sensor's safe though, so that's good news.
Well, no, you can't really see it in that photo, but there was a crack that basically runs around the outside edge of the LiDAR sensor.
Right.
I have a Genius Bar appointment next week, as soon as I could get out there.
They're just going to tell you it's scratched, so
Yeah, just scratched.
it looks like a scratch to me.
Some people asked if I was going to repair it myself. You can't. The back is not part of the self-service repair. Historically, I don't know if it's true like currently with the 13s, but ever since like the 8 and the 10, if you break the back, it's a whole phone replacement because basically everything's built in to the back.
Because it got cheaper to do.
Did it?
Yeah, the out of warranty repair got cheaper.
I would love not to have to replace the phone completely. I mean, it's under Apple Care Plus. I mean, I'll have to pay the service fee, but just going to a new phone is such a pain. So hopefully they can just fix this one.
So you're on Apple Care?
Yes, Apple Care Plus, the damaged one. So yeah, I go Tuesday morning to get it fixed.
Do you think they ever do you think they have records?
Like this guy is really bad, charge him more for Apple Care.
Like, or just they keep a record and they're like, he did it again.
I mean, you can look.
Do you think they just see you walk in and they're like, "Oh, he's back.
He's
back.
The guy's back."
That guy, phone guy's back. I mean, you can look at someone's like case history pretty easily based on their Apple ID. So yeah, if someone wanted to, they could go back and see a handful, really just a couple of similar incidents over the last 15 years.
I would expect actually your Apple store thinks one of two things when you walk through the door, right? Mm-hmm. It's either one, what's he broken now? Or two, what is he going to buy in return in a week?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you think, are you trying to get loyalty points or something, Steven, for breaking devices?
No.
Because that's not how it works.
You do it enough times, you get like a free iPhone case. So give him a little stamp on a card, and
So we're just going to give you this case.
Yeah.
You get
eventually,
sir,
it's like, you're costing us too
sir,
much.
we collectively had an idea. We want you to keep this case.
We've had our best minds on this.
Yeah. Our gift to
every
you.
employee chipped in, and we had this idea. Please keep
Clearly, this is
case.
an issue for you. So
We started a GoFundMe and we bought you this case.
oh boy, it's annual special time. If you're new around here, once a year, a selection of Relay FM shows create a bonus episode for Relay FM members. Relay FM members that support any show. So whether you support Connected or Connected Pro, whether you support Reconcilable Differences, or whether you support just any show that you want, even ones that don't give bonus content of their own, every Relay FM member gets access to a feed called the Crossover Feed that has a bunch of content in it all the time, but once a year, a selection of annual specials. Our special comes out on Friday, May 20th. It's going to be in that Crossover Feed with the annual specials, and it is the first round in a new thing for Connected, which does not yet have a name, but it is a quiz where I will be hosting a long-running quiz with my two co-hosts here. It's Steven versus Federico. This quiz can occur as both member specials. It will occur in Connected Pro content. It will occur during the show, either as planned or unplanned segments. So anytime this quiz will occur, the points will be accrued throughout all the quizzes. So we've already recorded this. We recorded this today. It was, I would say, a great success. I thought it went very well. Very happy with it. The first round of the quiz is a trivia quiz about WWDC, of which there are 20 questions. And these two boys racked up a selection of points. These points will now be carried through to future quizzes that will occur in the Connected universe. So you can go to getconnectedpro.co and you can sign up. If you sign up there, you will be supporting this show directly, and you will get longer ad-free versions of Connected, which in the future may include some quiz questions, right? So you want to make sure you get all of them, right?
Yeah.
Getconnectedpro.co. But no matter what show you support, you will get access to the quiz that we have recorded for you that will come out on Friday, May 20th, and I really hope that you'll enjoy it.
It was a lot of fun. I'm so pleased about this idea. And
and it's a long-running quiz. So on Friday, you get the first taste of it. But Myke plans to torture us with this quiz over time throughout, many months, years in the future. So, keep following, I guess.
At certain points, I hope that you just hear me take a deep breath, and you're worried that I've got a quiz question for you.
Oh God!
This is the kind of environment that I'm hoping to create on this show.
Okay.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah.
It's cyber quizzing, quiz bullying.
All the kids are doing it.
Are they? Are they? Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what kids do.
They do TikTok. That's what they do.
Oh yeah, I guess
I
that's
might make some
probably true.
TikTok quizzes. Who knows?
No.
Who could tell? Who could tell?
We have some follow out. Myke, you were on App Stories episode 274 as the tvOS expert.
Yep. So on App Stories, Federico and John have been doing their annual wish lists for various operating systems. I think neither of them could be bothered to think of tvOS, so they drafted me in.
Yeah.
And I had, 6 things, I think? 6 features that I wanted added to tvOS, to everybody's surprise, because I have things I would like in tvOS as the tvOS expert. Nobody thinks about tvOS more than me, as is proven on episode 274 of App Stories. Episode 1274.
He thought of things that I couldn't even what was one of them? There was one about just give me one of them. Do you remember one of them, Myke? This is all of them.
Is there something that is particularly in your mind right now?
You said something shocking that no one had ever thought of before.
Yeah.
Widgets
on the
or was it the X-ray feature, the Amazon
X-ray
Yeah.
many of those ideas were incredible. So go listen to the episode. I mean, he's the tvOS guy, and obviously we are looking forward to the review of tvOS 16 in September. It's gonna happen, a whole new design this year.
I really hope they don't do a lot though, right? Can you imagine if they're this year we've decided to focus primarily on tvOS.
Oh no.
Can you imagine that? Like, that's it. That's just the thing. And then I'm stuck. Like, Federico does like a 2-minute segment on Connected, and I have to do like a 4-month long segment.
Imagine that.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be nice.
It'd be horrible, is what it would be. I'm not ready for that.
Federico will be on episode 641 of Mac Power Users. The link is in the show notes. It won't work until Sunday when the episode goes up. David and I are very glad you came to hang out with us this week. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you.
I think Connected listeners will enjoy a lot of the themes we talk about here, sort of explored in a new way over there.
Different side of me.
A more powerful way.
Yes.
Probably more serious way, I'm going to assume, too.
Yeah.
Fewer japes.
Yeah, fewer japes. Lots of hashtag productivity content, you know, that kind of
Kept
stuff.
talking about Obsidian. I kept
No,
trying to
I didn't
game to stop.
keep talking. It was like not even 10 minutes of 2 hours or something.
I'm surprised, actually, with David and Federico on the same
Exactly.
episode.
We try to really, we know that Steven is here and other people are listening. So just, give us 10 minutes is all we're asking for.
Sava in the Discord has said, Mike's future quizzes will all be about tvOS. Can you imagine?
The future of TV is blank.
The future of TV is Myke. So
It's true. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. You can stand out with a beautiful website, engage with your audience, find new customers, and sell anything, your products, services, even content. With Squarespace, you can sell your products in an online store, physical and digital products alike. They have all the tools you need to start selling online. You can manage your inventory, see all your shipping information. Like, it's all there and is absolutely fantastic. We did the magnetic Tricky trophies back during the holidays, all on Squarespace's online store. And if you want to start writing, start blogging, they have powerful tools for that. You can share stories, photos, videos, updates. You can categorize things, share them, and even schedule posts to make your content work for you. I love building on Squarespace because everything I'd ever need is all there in one place. I'm not having to go around and tape things together from different systems. They have all the tools you need. They all work cohesively together, and it all looks awesome when you're done. Head on over to squarespace.com/connected today for a free trial with no credit card required. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code CONNECTED to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/connected and the code CONNECTED to get 10% off your first purchase. Our thanks to Squarespace for their support of the show and Relay FM.
So to celebrate Global Accessibility Awareness Day, Apple once again, I think they did this, I know they did this last year. I think it was the first time, or maybe done it a couple of times. Apple kind of pre-announced some upcoming accessibility features. This could have been something that they would do as part of WWDC, but I actually think is way better to do as part of Global Accessibility Awareness Day because, it's focused around that day, and Apple can kind of make a bigger song and dance of it in the sense of like letting people know that this thing even exists, right? Because a lot of articles will be written that mentions, for example, right, these are the features, they did it because of this. Plus, it also allows them to go into way more detail than I think they would be able to fit into a WWDC keynote. There's a long list of things. I wanted to pull a couple out of the smaller ones, and then we can maybe talk about, I think, a couple of the bigger ones that were interesting. So some of the things that they had were Apple Watch mirroring on the iPhone. So this is like it would let you see the screen of your Apple Watch on your iPhone, so you can use things like voice control and like switch control and a lot of the various ways that Apple have built tools to allow you to control the iPhone. So you could also use them on the Apple Watch, which is actually, I think, a pretty smart way of not needing to build those tools twice in ways that they wouldn't necessarily work. So that was cool. They have more controls for watch navigation. So you remember they did like the gripping and the pointing. Like they're also got like a pinch gesture now too. There's more language support for voiceover in general on the iPhone. So more languages now are included in voiceover. And something I thought was amazing called Buddy Controller. So you can like attach two controllers by Bluetooth to a device, and they both control the same thing. So let's imagine let's say you're playing a platforming game. Two people could have a controller connected to that one game, controlling that one character. So if somebody needed help, they needed somebody to help them. Maybe they have limited mobility, or they just need more assistance, right? Like they're struggling with the game, right? You could have two people control the same thing. I thought that was super cool. My personal favorite was live captions, because I remember Google adding this to Android a couple of years ago. I was very jealous of it. So it's in voice, like in video calling. I think it may be video calling for media apps and stuff like that. It will, but you don't need to have audio on. You can have the audio down, or you can have the audio up, and it's basically using the on-device language processing to show captions for what's on the screen. I think this is just fantastic. Like, it's something that obviously is super useful for people that need it, but there's also useful people that want it, like me, which is, good accessibility features can be used by everyone,
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And so, I would be able to have my volume down and watch somebody's Instagram stories or whatever, right? Which I just think is like a really clever feature. Federico, I know you wanted to talk about door detection.
Yeah, that seems really impressive. The fact that it's powered by the LiDAR sensor makes sense. So you will get it on the iPhone 12 and later, I want to say. And the most recent iPads as well. It seems really incredible. And the way that it works, that it can not only detect the distance of a door, but whether it's unlocked or not, if it can be opened by pushing or by using a knob, or if there's a handle or something. And it also tells you, using VoiceOver, what's the sign on the door? What does it say? Like, it seems really well done. And I mean, they're talking about this in the context of iPhone and iPad now, but if they ever do a wearable AR device, I mean, the potential there for this kind of stuff is incredible, right? You're wearing glasses and the glasses tell you, hey, you're looking at a door and it needs to be unlocked by pushing, and it's 5 feet away, and it says, this on the door. Like, that seems incredible.
That's a pretty intense machine learning task too, right?
Yeah.
Like to work out if a door can be pushed or pulled. Like,
Yeah, they say it can tell if it's open or closed, and if it can be opened by pushing, turning a knob, or pulling a handle.
Like, I don't even know that most of the time.
Right. Who's pulled on a door that says push, and then you feel silly. But yeah, I mean, and this is that's the attention to detail that I think is so fascinating in this. Like, if you're going to do something like door detection, of course you need all of those details. And with LiDAR and these other tools, they really can get a good image, a good analysis of what's around the phone or the iPad, because the iPad Pros have LiDAR on them now. Seems very impressive to me.
And also, I wanted to call out. I mean, obviously, as far as AR goes, live captions, that kind of stuff, will also be applicable in the future to an AR device.
I don't know if you saw in Google I/O, they did a demo of the translation thing.
They did the demo of the translation thing. Obviously, doing real-time translation, much more difficult than showing captions for a video, right? Because I imagine that in a video, the system does not necessarily need to analyze the captions in real time. Like, you're seeing the captions in real time, but the system may be using a buffer to actually pre-analyze the whole video and load the captions beforehand, right? Because you're watching the video, but the system can analyze the entire video before you even see it in seconds. Real-time translation means the system is listening alongside you to whatever someone else is saying. So that's much more challenging because there's no buffer in real life, obviously, when someone is speaking. But live captions and translations, obviously all of these features make sense to prepare for a future in which maybe something that you're wearing gives you this kind of information in real time. I also wanted to call out, a minor detail that caught my attention. The fact that Apple specifically called out these visual customizations coming in the Books app. Besides the fact that this there's going to be multiple themes in Books for iOS 16. They never say iOS 16 by name, but obviously they're talking about this. And they're bringing back a paper theme. So there's going to be a paper background in books again, which I thought was funny. But this visual customization with multiple themes, it makes me, a couple of things I want to say. It makes me wonder if visual customization inside apps, maybe even outside of apps, given what Google announced at I.O., will finally be a theme in 16, given the lack of visual customization stuff in iOS 15 last year. Also, that UI in books for customizing the UI, that card that pops up from the bottom of the screen, I wouldn't be surprised, and a bunch of developers have confirmed, had the same theory I've seen on Twitter, if that's one of the new SwiftUI changes, like a new SwiftUI API in iOS 16, being able to do those bottom-based cards, like you may have seen in Apple Maps, like you may have seen to an extent in Safari. Yes. And it's a lot of developers have been asking for a SwiftUI version of that, which doesn't exist at the moment, and we may be looking right at it in that screenshot.
You would assume so,
right?
Right, like if it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Books is made in SwiftUI, but I guess ultimately everything will be at some point.
But also that visual customization stuff, please make it happen for more apps, not just Books. Like, give me that in Notes. Like, give me multiple themes.
Yeah.
Like, that should be a system-wide thing this year.
There was another story. There's like a lot of little bits and bobs coming out right now, a lot of press releases. As we mentioned, 15.6 is out, and there's like some enterprise press release today.
Oh, and by the way, there's no sign of Apple Music Classical in 15.6.
Okay. That was the bet.
Yeah, I was looking. I honestly don't see anything, so I guess it's just more bug fixes.
For now. There was an App Store subscription change that was announced on the Developer Center. Basically now, this will allow a company like an app that offers a subscription to increase the price of that subscription and have it automatically renew without explicit user permission. So you as a user will be notified that the price is increasing. You get like a little sheet that pops up and it tells you how much and when, and you just press OK, or you can tap a obscured text link, I'll say, to allow you to go and manage the subscription. But it will automatically change the price unless you cancel. So this was not possible before. So if you wanted to increase the price of your subscription, you had to create a new subscription tier and ask people to change to it, right? Like there wasn't like a flow. This is the Disney Plus rule, I think. Disney were the first company to be using this. Disney have been using this. Like, there are examples of people who have seen this thing happen to them. Like, a thing has popped up and said, oh, your price is going to increase from $5.99 a month to $8.99 a month, or whatever it was, from this date. Nobody else seemed to have had this. Disney had this. And you can see why, right? Like, Disney, Apple wants Disney to have the in-app purchase, right? They don't want them to Netflix them. They want them to have an in-app purchase option, which Disney does for Disney Plus. You can buy it through Apple's platforms. Disney want to put up their prices. They don't want to then ask everyone, please do this. So I assume they've gone to Apple and have said, can you help us with this? This is my assumption of this part, right? This is conjecture, but I think it makes sense. But I'm sure that Apple were getting this from a lot of their partners, right? Larger companies who want to put their prices up. There are rules about how much you can increase, so you can't go wild with it. I'll give you some examples here. So if a developer increases a weekly or monthly subscription price by more than 50%, and that difference is over $5, it doesn't qualify. This is for the monthly one, right?
So then you're in the old system where people have to sign back up.
Yeah, or you just can't do it, right? So you have to do it other ways, right? But you can't use this system. And for an annual subscription, developers can still raise the price by 50%, but can't raise it by more than $50 without requiring an opt-in. So you can go anywhere up to 50%, but you have capped limits that you can do that difference over. So if you had a $10 subscription, like a month, you can't raise it to 20 or whatever, right? You can only go up to 15 maximum. If you had a $20 subscription, right, you can't actually raise it by 10. You can only raise it by 5, because even though 50% would be 10, the difference cannot be more than $5. Does that make sense? It's a little complicated, that part, but basically, like, it's never more than 50%, and it's never more than a set amount of money that goes up. So this is this feels like something that Apple are doing for the companies more than for the users. But this is business. This is, how else are you going to do it, right? If you're Disney, what are you going to do? Apple want you to go through their system. Well, then Apple have to help you out.
Yeah, it's just a cost of doing business this way, right? And I get that. I mean, I get why companies want that flexibility, and it's good for Apple, like you said, to keep as many people as possible in the in-app system. You know, they don't want Disney Plus walking away and then them not getting their cut. So,
that's a good point. This benefits Apple too, right? Because if Disney successfully, this is a raise. Apple just got a raise because Disney put their prices up.
Right, and they're not doing like say that Disney Plus had a cost increase and Apple didn't have a system like this, that may be opportunity for Disney to say, you know what, why are we doing this at all? Why don't we just do the Netflix? Like, you just have to sign up online. And so this is a way to incentivize those big companies to stay within the in-app system, which means Apple gets to take their cut.
And especially at a time when they're now offering the exemption stuff, right, for the Reader apps. But in Apple's defense, they do tell you.
They do, and the prompt is very clear. Like it says, plan, new price, old price, the starting date. So I feel like it's communicated as clearly as it could be. So that works for me. Do we expect anything else from Apple pre-WWDC? I mean, we're coming up now, just a couple weeks?
I mean, they've done something like every day this week. I expect there'll still be more stuff, little bits and bobs. There might be some bad news to come, right? Like they do that. Like if they have like a big bad news thing.
What could be bad news right now?
Not necessarily bad news, but like stuff where there's lots of questions. Like when they introduced the subscription thing. Do you remember that? And they changed they added like 30 and 15 for the first time, and they did a bunch of news articles, and we all believed at the time it was like, well, because if you announce this during the WWDC event itself, no one will be talking about anything else. They would just be talking about the money part. So they did it like a week before or something, and then all of the questions got worked out before then. If you remember I think it was maybe 2 years ago, they did the thing where they said, oh, now you can appeal and we're not going to kick you out of the store anymore. Do you remember when there was the whole thing with Hey and Basecamp?
Yeah. Hey.
So, I mean, I can't think of anything that's immediately on the horizon. Maybe they'll do something more around like the third-party payment stuff, because they have been categorically failing to meet what regulators are looking for. So maybe they have something bigger, and maybe they'll do it before WWDC. I don't know. But like they have done that in the past. Like if there's some kind of change to the developer terms or money, they do it before, and I think for good reason. So people can kind of get it out of the system before WWDC begins.
I mean, because it feels like this stuff's like, I mean, we're a month or 3 weeks out. I don't have the dates in front of me, but I feel like some of that stuff came basically the week before. And so there's definitely still time. I agree with you. I think there's more.
They're pretty active right now, right?
They are.
So it would suggest, so like you got like it's an active volcano, right? And there might be an eruption now between now and WWDC.
It's more likely to stay active, now that it is. Or something.
Or something like that. But it does seem like they are just like, they're pumping out stuff right now. Like, if it would have been just the accessibility stuff, it'd be like, oh, that makes sense. There's a day for it. But like, in the past week or two, there's just been like a bunch of press releases, and they're just putting things out all over the place, like left, right, and center.
This episode of Connected is made possible by Capital One. Have you ever hit a technical snafu while shopping online? Maybe filling out payment fields or giving you a headache? Or has your mobile banking app been down when you really needed to use it? Well, Capital One believes everyone deserves better banking. This means easier access to your money and more security while doing so. That's why Capital One is investing in machine learning. Machine learning allows Capital One to do all sorts of things, like fight fraud with models that quickly detect suspicious activity, make it faster to alert federal investigators, and they can identify how mobile app outages happen with causal models. Keeping their mobile app up and running, this doesn't happen by accident. Anomaly detection and incident response help determine why app outages happen so engineers can quickly remedy them. And Capital One is speeding up online shopping with machine learning at the edge. They make shopping with virtual card numbers smoother and more secure. This technology is based on logistic regression models and running inference in the browser. It identifies payment fields, which helps make using virtual card numbers easier and faster. The potential of machine learning is so big. See how Capital One is using machine learning to create the future of banking? Simply search machine learning at Capital One. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
So we have this week. We have next week.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the Rickies.
Oh, boy.
Then it's WWDC.
Oh, my.
Oh, it's so soon.
Today, we're going to take a look back at both tvOS 15 and watchOS 8. Then next week, we will do macOS, whatever it is, 12?
12.
100? What macOS is it? 12?
100. 1200.
1200.
1200.
And then it's Ricky's time. I guess it's probably worth noting now, we're recording the Rickies in advance. So I actually want to bring up something to the court if I can approach the bench.
Uh-oh.
Now, if I remember rightly, based on the rules, as if somebody could imagine remembering the rules.
Mm-hmm. I have a document.
It begins...
Let me open it.
I mean, they've changed. The scoring begins...
The document is accurate, though. Let me open the document.
Okay. The scoring begins once the episode ends, right? Because if that's the case, we get an extra week.
Yeah.
Okay, let me read it. Scoring is completed during recording and cannot be modified once an episode is complete. So we have that part of it. For Keynote Rickies, the scoring window starts when the event begins and closes when the picks are scored.
Something could happen between when we record and WWDC, right? And we're not going to get it. But it's because the reason I mention this, it's a longer gap this time.
It is.
Normal.
So, for example, let's just say that my risky pick was Apple allows third-party payment processors in the App Store. If they announce that before WWDC, but after I made the pick, I don't get the point.
Okay.
According to
Cool.
the rules.
That's good to know for now, and I'll keep that in mind when I'm working on my picks next week.
Yep.
So
definitely.
no, hold on. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat? I got confused. So we
My example?
Yes.
Okay. So just say that my Rickies is my Ricky pick is Apple allows third-party payment processors in the App Store.
Yeah.
But they announced that. So we're recording early.
Yeah.
Because of some travel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be out the regular day, but we're going to record it a few days early. Say that Apple announces that before WWDC, but after our recording, then I wouldn't get the point. Now, in a way, that's not new because we've always recorded and released the Rickies, several days before the keynote. It just, there's a few more days now between recording and publication that make that possible.
It feels like we're usually in a downtime.
Right.
Where I feel like it won't be as much. It's like
Maybe
a
not.
full week, right? So we'll see. I wanted to just get that out before I start working on my picks. And also, I wanted to say it clearly now so people don't start sending us tweets if something happens, right? Right. Everyone understands now. We've very clearly stated the rules, okay? Let's look back at tvOS 15.
All right. Yeah. Big release, right?
There was stuff. I think there was more than 14, honestly. I don't remember tvOS 14 now. They all blur, at a certain point.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that all they do is like a 10-minute segment, maybe even less.
Yeah.
If they
a
do
lot
that.
a lot of work needs to happen post keynote.
Yeah.
If you're in the tvOS space like I am,
Yeah.
the forums really go wild.
Right.
tvOS forums.
The tvOS underground
Yeah,
really
they're not
popping
on.
off.
These things aren't on Reddit. It's a private forum for tvOS. tvOS 15 allowed you to be able to join Wi-Fi networks that need a web browser login, which is something the Apple Watch could do a really long time ago. But hey, we don't have to worry about that. We got it in tvOS 15. So if you took an Apple TV with you on your vacation, you could plug it in and you'd be able to connect to the hotel Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
That's the thinking.
A lot of companies have this, or schools have this, right? It's just making setting up the Apple TV a little bit easier if you don't have Ethernet.
I think they're called captive logins or something.
That's right. In fact, this is a real throwback for you. With the iPod Touch being discontinued, I was watching a few iPod Touch keynotes this week, just sort of in the background. And that's one of the reasons they said that Safari needed to be on the iPod Touch, was for captive portal login stuff. So you could then, download music in the iTunes Music Store.
You were just watching iPod Touch keynotes in the background?
Yeah. Just leave them running,
Yeah. Stephen?
Mm-hmm.
I need you to stop highlighting things in the Google Doc.
Okay.
You make it very hard for me to read.
Yeah, why does he do that?
I don't know why he does that. Stephen does this, though. He does it on all the shows so we use Google Docs, right? We can be in Google Docs all at the same time. We can be collaborating. Each of us can be typing. Wow, this is a great time. But if you highlight something as a Google Docs user, it highlights it for everyone else in a different color.
Yeah, it's just like a thing, just like moving my hand around,
Can you do it in somewhere else, though?
I need my own separate highlightable.
You need a fidget spinner is what you need.
Yeah, this is not a fidget toy, man. It's Google Docs.
This is like the official cursor resting area when you record with John.
This is, so as well, like, you get like Fisher Price toys or whatever for your kids, right? And they're like meant to look like things that adults do. We need to get you a version of that, but it's like a document. It's like My First Show Notes. And you can just like click around in there and do whatever you want, and it's not going to affect anyone.
Change everything to Comic Sans. So you were burning me about watching iPod Touch keynotes, and now you're burning me about my Google Doc hygiene.
Well, I mean, the Google Doc thing, you brought that on yourself. You kind of brought it all on yourself. I'm just intrigued, like the things you get up to. But I guess when you're a historian, a noted Apple historian.
Noted. Yep.
That's right.
You've got to stay up on the history.
Published Apple historian.
Published. Wait, where?
I mean, literally right now being published.
MacStories.net.
MacStories.net. I wrote a book. I have a calendar.
Self-published.
We're going to have a second calendar.
Yeah.
Self-published book.
Wow.
Well, it is self-published, though. You know what I'm saying? It is a self-published book.
It was
But you are. I called you a noted Apple historian. I felt like that was good enough, and then you had to try and take it another place. Noted. But you are world-renowned. How about that?
I like it.
Yeah, world-renowned Apple historian. You can use another device to authorize purchases, which is great.
That is cool. That is actually a fantastic feature.
And this is good for a couple of reasons, right? Because it can let you use Face ID, which is like good for making sure things are bought correctly.
Yes.
Not just having them like randomly purchased. Because, I know, like, I'm sure like the both of you before then, you'd enter in your password, and I just had to have the setting of like never ask me again.
Yep.
Because like I just can't keep typing in like swipe left, swipe right, swipe left. It's just terrible.
And they did the thing, I think it may be tvOS 13 or 14, where you could use your iPhone as a keyboard. And at some point that even supported like the autofill passwords.
The password thing, yeah. Which is great, but that was still too slow.
But this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Friday nights are movie night at my house, so we order pizza, we watch a movie.
Oh, I like
and
pizza.
You won't like Steven's pizza, though.
No, I don't get to eat the pizza. Everybody else does.
Do you not get the gluten-free pizza?
Well, the dairy's the problem. Dairy-free cheese.
You could get, dairy-free cheese is terrible.
Yeah, Sylvia has the same problem, so yeah, I get it.
It's no good.
Yeah, that is the biggest issue, right? Is the dairy-free cheese. It's not so good. I'm sorry if you love it, or like I'm sorry if you like Steven are bound to it, like, but I think it's not great.
No, it's not great.
But yeah, movies.
Anyways, sometimes we rent a movie or buy a movie. Sometimes we watch something. Most of the time we're streaming something on Disney Plus or whatever. But it's kind of nice, like if the kids want to rent something and they ask, and like, yeah, go ahead, and then I can just like have my phone out real quick and they can still have the remote even, right? Because I don't need the remote to like trigger it or anything. This legitimately, I think, is like the best feature they added in tvOS 15.
What was the movie on last Friday?
What was the movie last Friday?
Yeah, and also what was the pizza?
Well, we do 1 cheese and 1 sausage from this place in the neighborhood.
What does that mean?
1 cheese pizza.
What is a cheese pizza? Every pizza has cheese.
No, but it's just cheese, right? So like it's like low moisture mozzarella.
Yeah.
No tomato sauce?
Well, no, it has tomato sauce, but it's like it's everything up to the cheese, and then that's it. You know, there's no toppings.
So Margherita.
No, that has other stuff on it.
No, that's not true. Okay, so here, I'm going to act as the mediator.
Can
here.
you translate this for me? Can you translate this for me, Myke?
Federico, Margherita. Steven, cheese. Right? Because there is a thing in America called a margherita pizza, but Federico does not want to know what that is. I'll tell you that right now. Federico does not want to know what that is.
It is a pizza with alcohol in it, and sometimes you get salt around the rim.
Do not tell him
Wait, what?
a margherita pizza. He's talking about margherita, the alcohol now. He's trying to throw you off, all right?
Yeah.
And then a sausage
like
is
pineapples.
it's like spicy sausage, like kind of like an Italian-style sausage,
Yeah, exactly.
which is really good.
I'm trying to think of what movie we watched on Friday.
Remember the pizza, then remember the movie.
I don't
We watched
remember the movie.
Red Notice over the weekend. It's
The Pixar?
one of those no, that's
the one with the
Turning
rock.
Red.
Isn't the one,
The one with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot. Great movie. Surprising amount of swastikas in it, though, I'm just going to say.
Oh,
Like, just a surprising amount. It's like, this was an original movie, and there's a lot of Nazis in it, and a lot of swastikas. I was very surprised by this. Good movie, but, like, surprising amount of swastikas. Like, it wasn't what I was... It took a real turn, the movie, and then there was lots of it. And I was surprised by this, but otherwise, funny movie.
okay. Moving on.
I am filling time for you to find out your Friday movie.
Oh, am I supposed to be looking? Like, who am I going to ask? I'm the only one here.
What
I
about
don't
your
remember.
purchase history?
I think I'm sure we streamed it, so I don't.
Oh, well, then
I
that
mean,
whole story was a lie, wasn't it? That setup of like...
Sometimes we purchase things. Sometimes we stream things. I want to say Friday they just streamed something that we had already seen.
Right. Picture-in-picture for HomeKit cameras was added in tvOS 15.
Oh, yeah.
As was the Store tab in the TV app, which still sends you to other places, which annoys me.
Yeah,
Like, I just want that.
We've talked about this before, but the way that sort of the legacy iTunes Media Store shows up across these different apps, and like on the phone, there's still the iTunes Store. Like, it's just all so broken and confusing, and they really need to, I think, have like a universal, like, this is the way it works, right? If you want to buy something, it's the same flow no matter what app you're in. It's a bit messy.
All right, I have to raise a complaint with the Discord. Didn't I say nobody tell Federico what Americans call margarita? Didn't I tell?
Sorry, but I saw that
Didn't
photo.
I say?
I saw that.
I know, but this is why I
first
said
photo.
don't tell him.
That first
Why?
photo is all
Look,
wrong.
This is a cone of like silence or trust here, whatever it's called. I said don't tell him, and what did they all do? They immediately told him. Now,
Yeah.
look, everyone. You know what he's going to do if you tell him. Don't tell him. Because we just then it's like we spend the next week arguing about pizza, which is like the worst argument to ever have, you know?
There's no need to argue.
But it's going to get that way. It's going to get that way eventually. They're all going to start saying things to you. You don't know what this is. I don't know what that is.
No, it's fine.
What's a bagel? You know
look,
what I mean?
Look, it's fine. They're all wrong, and I'm right. Done.
I think it's
See where we're going? We're already going there. Support for the Apple Music voice plan, a thing I always forget exists. I always forget about this until I read about it. That's the thing that exists.
Yeah, if you use the Apple Music voice plan, please tweet at iMyke and let him know.
I would love to know.
Oh, we have seen, I should have mentioned, we have seen a bunch of app library users, by the way. Shout out to
I
all
know.
the people who mentioned us on Twitter.
Yep.
I want to say at least 30 to 40 people have reached out saying they are real app library users. Now the question is,
Yeah,
are
they're real
these,
users like me.
Are these crisis actors hired by Apple
Oh
to
my
say
gosh.
that they use the app library.
This is
I don't
a
know.
false flag operation that I have set up.
I don't know that
Both of
for
you stop.
sure. I continue to believe that Kate is one of the true app library users, maybe alongside Myke.
A real
Maybe.
user like me.
These other folks on Twitter, I'm not sure.
No, but they're part of the less than 5% of bot accounts that exist on Twitter.
What's next, Myke?
SharePlay was added to tvOS, like it was added everywhere. But the good thing that tvOS got for SharePlay was enabling group workouts for Fitness Plus on separate devices. Though, don't get too excited. Not
So you and I could do a class together across the
but
world.
on our own devices. But the TV could be one of those devices.
Okay.
Steven, you're doing it again.
Highlighting? Yeah, because you said it, so I'm just going to keep doing
Stop it. For all of you is a feature.
Oh, yeah. John uses this, maybe?
For all of you.
For all of you.
This is for you. For this is man. What is going on? We're losing threads so bad today. This is the issue with
what's the
recording a
song?
member show before
To
the
all
regular
of
show.
you American girls in the movies. Isn't that a song?
I
That's a
don't know that
song.
one.
That's a song
by
from
the
the
way,
OC. Yeah.
We haven't even spoke about Eurovision.
Oh, that's right. Should have been in follow-up.
It should have been everywhere. Eurovision was incredible this year for a million reasons. It was great. Everybody was a winner, you know?
Is that what your tweets were about the other night? Because
Yeah,
it was
man.
just,
Yeah.
it was one of those things like you're tweeting about a
Yeah.
thing
You were eating the
that
cheese
clearly
pizza. You were busy
needed
with,
no context.
You were busy with the
but-
cheese pizza, man, and you were not watching TV.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
You got,
were
the, you
cheesing.
got the cheese going on there.
Yeah, I was putting some fresh basil, salt, and extra virgin olive oil on my pizza.
Like you're supposed to do. So
Just like you're supposed to, with definitely regular tomato sauce. Yeah, it was incredible. Everything was fantastic. It was a runaway success for everyone, except those that it wasn't a success for. But by and large, the curse is over. Europe has a new villain, and it's not the United Kingdom. So, right?
I mean,
It was great.
In what sense? Ugh.
It's great now because we're not the villains anymore. We're loved by all of Europe, and I'm happy we're back. You know,
Well, you don't know what you got till it's gone. So after Brexit, they realized how much they needed you.
well, no, because there has already been one. Because the one after Brexit was when we got literally 0 points.
gotta
about
let my joke stand.
Brexit, I just found out. So
What's happening?
there's no. It's safe content. Don't worry about it. It's just said. There's gonna be elections in Viterbo, my hometown, for the next mayor soon. I think like next month.
I know
There
where this
is
going.
a local party. Like, I don't know if it's like a list or like a proper political party. I just saw the signs and I was like, oh my God. There is a thing now, a list in Viterbo called Etal Exit
Yeah.
as the name
Yeah.
of the party.
This has been happening in a bunch of countries. I'm not really sure why anyone has seen what's happened to us and is like, I want some of that. Like, there's been 0 benefits to my knowledge. Like, I don't know why anybody wants to go into this, but hey, this is going to happen more and more now.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to try and do it, but I don't think it's going to work. Anyway, Eurovision was amazing. Our song was amazing. Maneskin were amazing. It was just all just superb. I was having the best time.
Yes.
Everybody won. you know?
Yes.
Everyone
Yes.
wins. Except for
Except you
Switzerland.
know for. You know.
Well, they weren't in it,
Yeah.
you know?
Well.
So, anyway, for all of you, so if you use profiles on Apple TV, which is a feature that I always forget exists, if you use profiles on Apple TV, so multiple people having their own user accounts, their own recommendations and stuff, there is a for all of you recommendations, which is something that is appropriate for all users based on the stuff that they're watching. Which is very cool, very smart. Didn't know the One True John used this, but there you go. They improved the TV controls in general, so like the native TV player kind of got reworked and things were a bit clearer. They added the AirPods pop-up detection thing, like, hey, there's some AirPods, you want to connect them? I don't like this feature. It annoys me because I see it pop up on my TV all the time, and I don't like it. You can use Siri on other devices to control what's going on your Apple TV.
Wait, really?
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
How?
You can. So you say, like, if you're watching something, you'd be like, "Hey, pause this on the TV," or something.
Nah, no way. That's not a feature. No.
By the way, this is the truly sad thing. So all of the other lookbacks that we've done, the link in the show notes is to the apple.com page, which has all the features. For tvOS, it is a support document.
Oh my God. That's so
Truly sad, right? Like, that is truly sad. Let me find it and I will read this
You
for
could say it's the K-Base article of the week.
Play music or start watching a movie or show with Siri commands from HomePod and iOS or iPadOS. And there's another article, which this could be the K-Base article of the week. So you could say, play Ted Lasso on the TV, and it would do it. So there you go.
I can't believe I missed this thing, but okay.
Well, because realistically, you don't need it, right? You just pick up the remote and use the remote, right? That's why, like, I never even would think to do this. Yeah. Like, I'm just not, I just use the remote. Like, I'm good with that. What else do we have? HomePod Mini stereo pair. So they added this as a feature. If you have two HomePod Minis, you can use those as a stereo pair. And then also eARC, which is HDMI ARC or eARC. This basically allows you to use connected speakers like HomePods that are connected to an Apple TV via a HDMI technology. If you have devices that all support it, you can use them as the video output for any content on the television. So if you are playing your Xbox, you can use your HomePods as the speakers for that. That is tvOS 15.
I mean, pretty good release, I would say. Too bad that, like, I forgot about half of these features. Like, I only remembered about the eARC and the HomeKit camera support.
Yeah, I mean, as well, like, I forgot about some of them too, but because they're things that are features for things I don't use already. Like, for example, the For All of You thing. I don't use profiles. Like, I have no need for that. So I don't know that feature exists. Like, I would never come across it. Or like, I've never taken an Apple TV out of my home, so I don't need to know about the captive thing. But these are just good features for I think, already pretty mature platform. Yeah,
that's the thing, I guess. It's really hard to make exciting updates to tvOS now. Because for most people...
But it should be that way, though. Like, it is one of those things where it's like, I want it to be boring. Like, this is not a platform that I want them to redesign every 2 years.
No,
right?
But also, I keep thinking about the features you imagined in that wishlist episode. And I'm like, there is still room for some creativity. No need to redesign the whole thing.
But I think one or two of those things could pop up every year for the next 5 years, and that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, make tvOS great again, is what I'm saying,
I would say it's already great. It's better now than it's ever been. Like, and that isn't the same for all of Apple's operating systems. Like, tvOS doesn't regress, which is good. You can put that on a sign. tvOS doesn't regress. You can put that on a sign. Print that one.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Hover, one of Relay FM's longest-running sponsors. When you have a big idea for a new project or company, where do you go? Where do you start? Well, your business starts with a domain name, so for many entrepreneurs, Hover is that big leap. They have over 300 domain name extensions to choose from. So no matter what you want to build, there's a domain name waiting for it. They have excellent technical support to answer any questions you may have. They're dedicated to getting you online, not upselling you. Hover has free WHOIS privacy so the bad guys don't get your information, clean UX and UI, and monthly sales on popular top-level domains. It's easy to see why Hover is the popular choice for people starting businesses. I've got all of my domains at Hover, and it's always the first place I go starting a project. I love their tool to search for domains that are for sale. You can type in keywords or a whole phrase even, and it will find and sort a bunch of domains that are available. And if exactly what you're looking for isn't available, someone else beat you to it, they have lots of suggestions. You can always find something that will work for you. Their user experience is intuitive. Everything just works straight out of the box, which I really appreciate. It's simple, clean, and easy to navigate Hover. Buy a domain and start using it today. Go to hover.com/connected and get a 10% discount on all new purchases. That URL one more time, hover.com/connected. Make a name for yourself with Hover. Our thanks to Hover for their support of the show and Relay FM.
Let's take a look back now at watchOS 8.
You got to wind the clock back.
Yep. That was good.
Clock,
that was good. I didn't give you the benefit for that. That was a good pun. I enjoyed it. The portraits face and the world time face.
Oh, it's so bad.
Portraits face and world time face.
Yeah. I know people like portrait photos and stuff, and I've tried this watch face a couple times, but it just looks so weird.
To me, if you're gonna have photos of people as your watch wallpaper watch face thing, this is a nice way to do it. I am just not one of these people that would ever have a photo watch face. Like,
no.
At that point, I don't know. For me, I don't know why I'm wearing it, you know?
I love this in his review that Alex has a photo of himself with a slingshot for some reason. It's very funny.
You got to show off the portrait, you know? It's the way to do it. Maybe he's actually dabbing in this image and it's just
That's a
like
good photo though.
he's just digitally added in a slingshot to hide the embarrassment of the dabbing.
Oh my god, I don't remember that photo. That's so good. Oh, I think he added these photos after as updates to the review. That slingshot photo is so good. Okay.
The world time face is a face that I like, but is too busy. That's what I have to say.
Oh, that's the face I don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very complicated.
Yeah, I feel like I need a degree just to understand this watch face.
My complaint with this, it's now is the same as my complaint then, which is like, it's actually my complaint of a lot of Apple Watch faces, where they are just replicating the way that analog watch faces work and look, which I don't think is necessarily the best way to interpret that when you have no physical constraints, right? So like world time watch faces look like this because of the physical constraints that they have. I think then sometimes I wonder if Apple's watch team are trying to reimagine any of these things or just recreate them. And I would argue a little bit more reimagining could happen with some of these things.
I'm looking at the photos of the world time face again, and I still don't know what I'm looking at. So there's the time in the middle, and then there's a bunch of repeating numbers. Like one of the images in our story, in the bottom, like in the inner circle, it says 10, 11, 12, 12. So twice 12. 13, 14, 16. What's it counting?
Do you want me to? I can try again to explain this.
Yes. Please try again.
Let me try again. Let me try again. All right.
Start from...
The hands...
So the hands...
in the middle...
are showing me the time.
Showing you your time.
My time.
Do you see the arrow at the bottom? Right? You see it? You got the ring. You got that little red arrow that's on a couple of them.
Yes.
Right? That is pointing to your time zone. So you can see here that that's either Mexico. It's Mexico for some reason.
Pointing in which sense? Pointing.
It's Central Time, I think.
It's Central Time? Okay, so this is...
because Mexico City is in Central Time.
Cool. So there you go. So you see it's pointing to the number 11.
Yes.
Which is the current hour, right? Because we just established that it's 11:32 or something.
Yes. Okay.
Right? Okay.
So that's the hour.
Saying that's the hour, right? The rest of the ring that goes around, you see, like you got the numbers that go around. They are hours still. So 11, 12. They've got 12 twice because of daylight savings in that point. 12, 13, 14, 15. There's actually no 15, which is, again, daylight savings. 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 18. You see they go around, right? Those are the hours in the corresponding cities that are listed. So, for example, can you see Rio as you go around to the right? Rio has 13. that means it is 13:32. Because you are looking, it's denoting the hour in that place, and then the minutes will be whatever the minutes currently are.
Okay. It's easy for Rio because it's aligned with the dot. What about New York?
New York is aligned with the 12 dot.
Is it?
It's like what is in the middle of the name. It's like close enough, right?
What about Moscow?
Moscow, where is that?
It's like it's in between 20
Yeah,
and
Moscow
18.
is aligned with the moon for
With
some
the moon.
reason. I don't know why.
The moon is not a number.
Yeah, that one is unhelpful. I'm not really sure why there's a moon there. But let's imagine that's 19. Let's imagine that's 7 because it's in the middle of the 18 and 20. But you see the 18:18 and the 12:12, right? This is Apple trying to be like, hey, this is digital, so we can change the number arbitrarily. But by doing that in the old but using still all of the conventions of an analog watch, you make it more complicated.
It looks like a bug, honestly. Like, why does it say 12:12?
It's like, it's because of daylight savings, but that still makes it more complicated. So like they're choosing places where the time zones are overlap. Yeah, anyway, I have a physical watch. It doesn't do this. The physical watch that I have, it's 1 to 24 the whole way around.
What about the outer ring of cities? Like the second row of cities?
They are still lining up with the dots. So if you take a look at the dots, right, you see it, right? So like Hawaii is lining up with that dot right above it where there's a sun. For some reason. Los Angeles is lining up with a 9, Denver with the 10, Mexico the 11, New York 12, Caracas 12, Rio 13. You get it?
Honestly,
so that's the hour and then the minutes or whatever the minutes are.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to grab my phone and look at a widget for time zones. You know?
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, like...
this is purely visual.
I feel like I'm looking at the Rosetta Stone or something to decipher these. I'm just going to look at a widget.
And this is my thing, right? Like an actual watch that does world time, I think is just a beautiful thing. It's an incredibly complex thing. It's like a nice thing to own, right? Because like it's doing a lot, right? It's a clever piece of physical engineering that it can do this. Because you can set it and you can set it in different ways. And I just think that was very clever. It's very nice engineering. With a digital watch, there's no engineering, right? Like it's just software that's doing this. Have the software present this information to me in a clearer and easier to understand way. That is my... This has been a terrible conversation because it's so visual based. I apologize. We will now move on. Multiple timers in the Timers app. It got all the way to watchOS 8 before we got that as a feature.
Ridiculous. I mean, this is like table stakes. We talked about this, about the HomePod too. Mm-hmm. Why would you not have this from day one?
The Photos app gained featured photos and memories.
Great.
I don't know who is looking at this on their watch.
I do it all the time.
Do y'all sync photos to your watch?
I don't know.
I mean, it's doing something. I don't know why. I've got recents
if it's doing that,
and featured.
It's outside of my control.
Yeah, this is just, it's doing for me whatever the standard is. Do you?
No, it's doing whatever.
Oh, look at that. I got a memory.
I open it and I've got my favorites, some features, and a memory of Father's Day 2010.
Oh, great. I don't have my favorites for some reason.
Were you a father in 2010, Steven?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, you were. Okay.
He's been a father forever, man.
I was born a dad, really, in some ways.
There you go. Yeah. Big dad energy, constant. A redesign of the Home app on Apple Watch.
Yes.
It had some quicker access to some scenes. It had that little, those little circles that are at the top of the Home app. It had those where it indicates things.
The status things.
And I would say some smarts. I want to read you this text from the watchOS 8 page because I read this today and I kind of couldn't believe it when I read it. When one of your smart devices is activated, watchOS 8 can automatically make suggestions for others nearby. For instance, if someone rings your connected doorbell, you might see options like unlocking the door or turning on the entry lights.
I've never seen this.
Well, but my issue is can and might. Why? Why does it not do it 100% of the time?
That's weird.
Yeah, because
right?
Sometimes it's lazy. Doesn't want to. It's like,
but that's my point,
I'm not
right?
gonna do
it. This is a great feature, right? If you have a HomeKit doorbell and a HomeKit lock and someone rings your doorbell, having it pop up on your watch to be like, unlock the door or show me the home camera every single time, I think that would be really smart. But what I don't like is they put 2 qualifiers in this statement. WatchOS 8 can automatically make suggestions. If someone rings your connected doorbell, you might see options like unlocking the door.
They're like, it can. We're not saying that it will. And it may display an option, but sometimes it doesn't want to.
It might do it. I find that very strange. I don't know how reliable this is. I don't have whatever this might be device-wise, but I just found that text to be kind of funny. New cards and keys in Wallet to support the new features added to the Wallet app. A Find My Items app was added. I think they split them out into Find My Devices, Find People, Find Items.
Yeah, you have 3 Find apps on the watch.
Which is awesome. The very best feature added to watchOS 8 for the Series 7 watch is the full QWERTY keyboard with the swipe typing.
This is the only feature that matters.
I love it. I love this feature.
This is the best feature they've done in years.
Yep. If I am ever going to send a message on my watch, this is the only way I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I send more messages from my watch now that they added this.
Yeah.
Because my problem with the dictation is, if you're halfway through the message and it just starts getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you do then? Yeah.
Yeah. But with the swipe typing, I have full control. Every word that's wrong, I can just delete it like immediately. Yeah. So I love it. The Breathe app got redesigned. It added some new animations and stuff, and something called Mindful Minutes, so just like a mindful meditation kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Fall detection for workouts.
Yeah.
And this is like a specific option, which I believe is always on. And then fall detection is a thing that you have to opt into or is on in certain circumstances based on age and health of the wearer, which I think is a thing you can set up in the family thing.
You hear, Steven? They have this now.
You've always had the fall detection turned on.
Yeah, I do have it turned on
because you're old and clumsy.
Yeah,
because I ride my bike a bunch.
No,
and
but
if I crash
during the workouts. Oh, I guess you would always have had it on, right? But now it would work automatically. They added better bike workout stuff, so detection for type of bikes like e-bikes and stuff like that. And they, if you have Apple Watch and AirPods, you can use more commands just like without having to talk to Siri, specifically invoke Siri. An always-on API for developers. I think Federico added that. I don't know what it means.
Yeah, it means that now developers can check if the always-on watch face is enabled, that they can tune their app UIs specifically for the always-on watch face. Like they can decide what gets shown or not. I have never, ever seen this. But also, I don't have any third-party apps on my watch. So, I know that I know this as a fact. I haven't seen it in practice. I'm sure that Carrot Weather has it, right? I'm sure, of all apps, I'm sure that Carrot Weather has support for the always-on watch face. That's now an API. I don't know anything more than this. I'm sorry.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Do you say you have no third-party apps on your watch?
I don't think I do. No.
Wait.
Why would I?
What?
They're useless.
What do you mean, why would you?
It's just...
I have Fantastical, Carrot Weather.
No,
Todoist.
I use reminders. I use iCloud Calendar.
So you use Apple's calendar?
When I work out, yeah, it's fine. There's just a widget on the.
I'm not criticizing you. I'm just asking. It's perfectly okay to do.
I use
Overcast.
I don't need anything else on the watch. And sometimes these apps they get installed by mistake and I just delete them.
Interesting. I have stuff on here that I don't use, but the ones that I mentioned are ones that I use all the time, right? So Fantastical and Carrot Weather, and Timery now too.
So I really just need my watch for notifications and heart stuff, just for notifications, health stuff in general. I don't really interact with my watch. I just want to see what's coming up. I just want to see notifications, and I want to make sure that it's tracking my heart and making sure that I'm not dying. Yeah.
Then it makes sense. I mean, I don't have so many notification stuff, but I have those 3 apps. There was the complications on my my watch face. I found a space for a complication the other day, which I was very happy about. So I used the California face, and I didn't know that you could put a complication around the watch face itself, like one of the circle ones, not one of the corner ones. I had no idea. It wasn't because I wanted to add Because Timery in beta right now, they got it on the watch, and I went to add that in there, but I didn't want to get rid of pedometer plus. But then I could put the pedometer number on the little watch face thing instead.
I'm gonna have to install Timery. Yeah,
Timery's good, man.
That's what
He's done a really good job.
That's gonna be my first third-party watch app, I think.
Yeah, he's done a great job as always. Also, focus modes was a thing that was added, not only in Control Center, but just support for them in general on the watch as part of focus modes being everywhere. And that is WatchOS 8.
Pretty under. Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like tvOS, right? It's pretty mature. What else do you really need from your watch? So it's just kind of slowed down over time.
Yeah, Mark Gurman said a significant update coming for WatchOS, and I don't know about that.
Yeah, new ways to interact with it. Fresh Apple apps.
Fresh Apple
apps and new ways to interact, and a big update for WatchOS. That's all he has so far. I like it when we don't. Like, I understand the rumors for hardware and stuff like that. I'm fine. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, show me the next iPhone. I don't care. Where I like to be surprised is WWDC. And I prefer it when the rumor was really quiet for WWDC.
WWDC is so much more exciting than iPhone event.
I agree with you. Because there is genuine surprises that can happen, which is like just not a thing that they can do.
And the after is even more exciting. That's the thing about WWDC, because you are surprised during the keynote, and the surprise continues after. It's
good and bad, though, is the problem with the afterwards. Because you see a thing and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be so amazing. And then you find out what it can actually do. And you're like, oh, this surprises me. I thought it would be better than this.
It's very emotional. That's what
it's a very emotional time.
It's a very dramatic event. Like the drama of WWDC is the energy that sustains me for the whole summer, basically.
Yep. I can't wait.
If you want to learn more about the topics we talked about, head on over to the website, relay.fm/connected/398. While you're there, you can join and get Connected Pro, which is a longer ad-free version of the show each and every week. Right now, we are in the middle of our annual special, so all Relay FM members get access to bonus episodes put out by selected Relay shows. Connecteds will be out Friday, May 20th. It's in the crossover feed. It is the first installment of the Connected, ongoing, open-ended Connected quiz game, which still needs names. If you have ideas for names, let us know.
Mm-hmm. Also, once you listen to this, if you have ideas for types of quizzes, you can let me know.
Yeah, so far the temporary title is UCQG, Untitled Connected Quiz Game.
UCQG.
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 UCQG. UCQG.
UCQG.
Yeah. QG's over there.
Say hi for me. Yeah.
You can... You can find us all online. Federico is on Twitter as Viticci, Viticci, and he is the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. You can find Myke on Twitter as IMYKE, and Myke hosts a bunch of other shows here on Relay FM. You can find me on Twitter as ISMH, and I write over at 512pixels.net. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Squarespace, Capital One, and Hover. Until next week, guys, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.